Menelaus was the king of Sparta and younger brother of Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, known for his valor in battle and his unwavering loyalty toward his family and kingdom. His character was defined by a combination of warrior nobility and iron determination, qualities that made him a respected leader among the Greeks. Although he did not possess the political charisma of his older brother, nor the cunning of other heroes like Odysseus, Menelaus compensated for these shortcomings with direct honesty and a code of honor that he never abandoned, even in the most adverse circumstances. Menelaus' origin traced back to the noble house of Atreus, one of the most powerful but also most cursed dynasties in Greece. He was the son of Atreus, king of Mycenae and brother to Agamemnon. The family had been marked by an ancestral curse that originated when Tantalus, their ancestor, offended the gods. This curse manifested in generations of family tragedies, including the conflict between Atreus and his brother Thyestes, which resulted in murders and vengeances that stained the lineage. Despite this dark inheritance, Menelaus grew up as a young nobleman with solid moral principles. When Atreus died, Agamemnon inherited the throne of Mycenae as the elder brother, while Menelaus had to seek his own kingdom. The opportunity came when it was announced that Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world and daughter of King Tyndareus of Sparta, was of marriageable age. Suitors from all over Greece came to Sparta to request her hand, including Menelaus, who saw in this union not only the possibility of gaining a beautiful wife, but also of obtaining a prosperous kingdom. The competition for Helen was fierce. The suitors included the most powerful men in Greece: Odysseus of Ithaca, Ajax of Salamis, Diomedes of Argos, and many other kings and princes. Each offered magnificent gifts and valuable alliances to Tyndareus. Menelaus, backed by the power and wealth of his brother Agamemnon, presented himself as a formidable candidate. His reputation as an honorable warrior and his connection to the royal house of Mycenae strengthened his position among the suitors. It was Odysseus who proposed the solution to Tyndareus' dilemma. He suggested that all suitors swear a solemn pact. They would accept Helen's decision about her future husband and defend that marriage against any external threat. The oath of Tyndareus, as it came to be known, bound the principal Greek leaders in an alliance that would have monumental consequences. Menelaus accepted these conditions along with all the other suitors, trusting in his own merits to win Helen's favor. When Helen finally chose Menelaus as her husband, the decision surprised some observers who expected her to select more charismatic or politically astute suitors. However, Helen saw in Menelaus qualities she valued: stability, honesty, and genuine devotion to her. The marriage was celebrated in Sparta with great pomp, uniting two of the most influential royal houses in Greece. As a result of this union, Menelaus became king of Sparta, since Helen was the legitimate heir to the throne. The first years of marriage passed in relative happiness. Menelaus proved to be an attentive husband and competent king. Helen gave birth to a daughter named Hermione, consolidating the Spartan dynasty. Menelaus devoted himself to strengthening his kingdom's defenses and maintaining the commercial alliances that made Sparta prosperous. His court became a center of hospitality, where he worthily received guests from distant lands, following the sacred laws of Greek hospitality. However, Menelaus' destiny would change dramatically with the arrival of a particular guest. Paris, Prince of Troy, came to Sparta on a diplomatic mission. Menelaus received him with all the honors due to a foreign prince, offering him the hospitality of his palace. Paris was young, handsome, and possessed a natural charm that contrasted with Menelaus' more direct personality. During the visit, the Trojan prince subtly courted Helen, taking advantage of the favor that Aphrodite had promised him as reward for choosing her in the judgment of the three goddesses. While Paris remained as a guest in Sparta, Menelaus received news that he must travel to Crete to attend his grandfather Atreus' funeral. Trusting in the laws of hospitality and in his wife's fidelity, Menelaus departed for Crete, leaving Helen under the protection of his palace. This absence provided Paris with the opportunity he had been waiting for. Under the influence of Aphrodite's divine power, Helen fell madly in love with the Trojan prince and decided to flee with him to Troy, taking a large part of Sparta's royal treasure. When Menelaus returned from Crete and discovered the betrayal, his world collapsed. Helen's flight was not only a devastating personal affront, but also a violation of the sacred laws of hospitality and a public humiliation that threatened his authority as king. His honor as husband and as host had been stained in the most terrible way possible. Personal pain mixed with anger and determination to restore his lost dignity. Menelaus immediately went to his brother Agamemnon in Mycenae, requesting his help to recover Helen and punish the Trojans for their betrayal. Agamemnon, recognizing both the family obligation and the political opportunity that the oath of Tyndareus represented, agreed to lead a Greek coalition against Troy. Messengers were sent to all cities whose leaders had sworn to protect Helen's marriage, reminding them of their sacred commitment. The response was impressive. One by one, Helen's former suitors fulfilled their oath, although some did so reluctantly. Odysseus tried to feign madness to avoid the war, but was unmasked. Achilles was hidden by his mother, but was also discovered and convinced to join the expedition. The fleet that assembled at Aulis was the largest the Greek world had ever seen. More than 1,000 ships with hundreds of thousands of warriors, all united by the oath they had made years before. Menelaus sailed to Troy as one of the principal commanders under the supreme leadership of his brother Agamemnon. During the 10 years that the siege of Troy lasted, Menelaus proved to be a brave and constant warrior. He participated in numerous battles, always fighting with the determination of a man who sought to recover both his wife and his lost honor. His presence on the battlefield served as a constant reminder of why the war was being fought. During the conflict, Menelaus had several direct encounters with Paris. In one of the most memorable, the two men agreed to resolve the war through single combat, with Helen as the prize for the victor. Menelaus clearly surpassed Paris in warrior skill, and was about to kill him when Aphrodite intervened, enveloping Paris in a divine cloud and transporting him back to Troy. This divine intervention frustrated Menelaus, but also demonstrated that his cause was just in the eyes of the gods, who did not favor deception. Throughout the war, Menelaus maintained his unwavering determination to recover Helen. While other heroes sought personal glory or booty, he remained focused on his original objective. When Achilles withdrew from combat due to his dispute with Agamemnon, Menelaus continued fighting. When other commanders considered abandoning the siege, he insisted on continuing until achieving complete victory. The war finally came to an end with the wooden horse stratagem devised by Odysseus. Menelaus was one of the warriors who hid inside the horse and participated in the nighttime sack of Troy. When the city fell, his first priority was to find Helen. He found her in the palace of Deiphobus, Paris's brother who had married her after the Trojan prince's death in battle. The reunion between Menelaus and Helen was intense and complicated. Menelaus had arrived with the intention of executing his unfaithful wife, but when he saw her again, her beauty and her pleas appeased his anger. Some said that Aphrodite intervened once more to protect Helen, while others claimed that the genuine love Menelaus had felt for her had never completely disappeared. Helen expressed repentance for her actions and explained how she had been a victim of Aphrodite's divine power. Menelaus decided to forgive Helen and take her back to Sparta. The return journey was not easy. The gods sent storms that scattered the Greek fleet, and Menelaus and Helen were carried by the winds to Egypt, where they remained stranded for several years. During this forced time of exile, the couple had the opportunity to rebuild their relationship. Helen demonstrated her repentance and her desire to be a faithful wife, while Menelaus learned to forgive and look toward the future instead of living in the past. Finally, Menelaus and Helen returned to Sparta, where they resumed their reign. The years after the war were of peace and prosperity. Menelaus had recovered not only his wife, but also his honor and his kingdom. His perseverance during the long years of war had demonstrated his character and had earned the lasting respect of his subjects and allies. The couple aged together in Sparta, and their marriage became a symbol of redemption and forgiveness. Thus, Menelaus established himself as an example of determination and honor in Greek mythology. His story demonstrated that loyalty and perseverance could overcome even the most painful betrayals. Although he had begun the most devastating war of his era over a personal matter, his unwavering commitment to justice and his final capacity to forgive made him a heroic figure who transcended simple revenge to represent the possibility of reconciliation and renewal.